Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the 25 questions book tag. So I was tagged by Chelsea over at Chelsea Zhao, and she was tagged by Jessie over at The Bookish Mom. I don't know if there is an original person to tag for this video, I'm not 100% sure, but that is all who tagged me, and I will tag Chelsea down in the description box down below. But let's just jump right into it. These are just 25 questions, so it might take a minute, so I just kind of want to get started. Question 1 is, what is your channel about? I talk about books here, mostly sci-fi, fantasy, and romance, in case you aren't aware if you're new here. I also tend to pull in some video games and some TV show things, like movies, stuff like that. Pretty much anything that I'm really interested in at the moment is something that I'm going to talk about, because I don't really love making this like a rigid book only place. I like talking to you guys about the things that I'm into, and I like seeing your comments and stuff like that. So if any of the things that I'm into also interests you, I like to tell you about it. And yeah, mostly books though. And then John, my husband, does usually come onto my video every once in a while, and he'll talk about the things that he's reading. Lately, he's been talking about video games with you guys, so yeah, I mean, pretty much anything that interests us at that time, but mostly books. Question number 2 is, how old are you? I am 28. I don't know if that puts me on the older side of the spectrum or like middle range. I think that puts me on the elder side of BookTube. I think that most people on BookTube tend to be in like their early 20s or teenagers, but yeah, I like it here. I like all of the friends that I've found on BookTube that are around my age, because we have a lot to talk about, and I never really had a lot of friends my age to like talk about all of these books with, and it's great. 3, what is your relationship status? I already talked about my husband John. We have been married for 2 years. We've actually been together for almost 11 now, but we've only been married for 2. Question 4 is, did you go to college / what's your occupation? I did go to college. I went to Penn State in Pennsylvania. I don't know if that's needed to be specified or not for anybody in the United States, but like outside of the United States, that is the Pennsylvania State University. I graduated with a forensic science major. I am currently a forensic chemist. I sample drugs all day, essentially, and that's my job. Question number 5 is, where are you from / where do you live? I live in Kentucky. Before that, though, for all of my life, I was born and raised in northeastern Pennsylvania. Not a lot of people are from that area. No, I am not from Scranton, but yeah, almost by like the New York border area is where I was born and raised. Question number 6 is, looking back, what would you have told your 10-year-old self? 10-year-old me was a little shit, so there's a lot of things that I would have told 10-year-old me. 10-year-old me was like sassy and sarcastic and talked back, but she was also fairly lazy, and at the time we were living in Germany, and pretty much anytime my parents wanted to like travel or go anywhere while we were living in Europe, it was met with a lot of smart mouthing from me, because like I wanted to spend time with my friends during the summer. I didn't want to travel around to a bunch of places, which is a very privileged thing to say. I am aware of that, and I have a lot of regrets about that now, but it was a great experience for me to look back on, and I probably would tell her to appreciate life more and not be such a little shit. Question number 7 is, tell us about your family. I don't know. There's not much to tell. I'm married to John. I have one sister that I'm very, very close to. She's pretty much my best friend in the entire world. I have a lot of close friends from high school and a couple close friends from college, but like my friend circle does tend to stay fairly small because I'm a very introverted person. I'm close to my parents too, and we have 2 dogs and 1 cat. I don't know what else to talk about in terms of all of that, so we're just gonna move on. Question number 8 is, what is your favorite holiday? I don't know. I like holidays because they get me off of work. I guess I would say like all of the end of the year holidays that we have here in the States, because I like food, and those are the ones that you get to eat the best food on. I love like Thanksgiving turkey. Well, I love the stuffing. I don't necessarily love the actual turkey itself. And like all of the stuff that you get to eat at Christmas is great, so yeah, I guess those 2. Question number 9, if you have no budget, what is your dream vacation? I have a few. I am lucky in that I got to travel a lot with my family when I was younger, so I got to see a lot of the places that a lot of people would have as their dream vacation, I think. I got to go to Thailand to visit my family when I was younger, and I got to do that every few years, so I've been there multiple times, and I enjoyed that every single time. So I think that right now, as it stands, my dream vacation would be to go to the UK. I like castles, I like history, and while we lived in Europe, that was one of the places that I never went to, even though it was really, really close. So I never got to see England or Ireland or Scotland, and I would love to do that one day, and John would like to as well because his family is mostly Scottish, so he would like to go and see all of the things that they have to offer over there. Question number 10 is, what is your biggest pet peeve? I have a lot. Listen, I have many things about things that other people do that annoy me. Slow driving is one of them. Judging people on the things that they read is another one. Whenever I do tags like this and I get asked these questions, I literally, everything that I have as an answer to them literally just flies out of my head. So I don't know. Those are the only two I can think of right now. Question number 11 is, what book changed your life? I don't know that I have one that I can truly say, like, changed my life more than any other book in the way that most other people kind of use this one. Like, the Harry Potter books brought me to my love of fantasy. I had read some fantasy before that, I think, but Harry Potter was like my first step into a fantastical world, and that was the first book series that I fell in love with, to the point where, like, opening day signings, all of that stuff is what I like wanted to be at all of those things. Outside of that, I guess I would have to say Aragon, because Aragon so say what you will about the Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini, but most people know at this point that he wrote Aragon when he was like 15 years old. When I was very, very young, wrote a lot of stories, and at one point had like typed one up and printed it out, and like it was this whole thing. I was very young, and it is awful, and it will never see the light of day. I don't think a copy of it exists anymore, but at the time I was very, very, very proud of it. And because of that, one of my parents' really close friends kind of like bought me the book of Aragon, like bought me Aragon as inspiration, because he knew that Christopher Paolini had started writing at a very young age, and he was like, hey, look, if this guy can publish this really, really well-known fantasy book at a young age, you can do the same thing. I did not. I did not do the same thing, but it definitely introduced me to my love of writing, which has kind of fallen to the wayside in recent years. Probably I haven't really done anything consistently since high school, but I still love the act of it and would love to get back into it in a more serious manner someday. I don't really have any dreams of writing the next great American novel or anything like that, but I would like to get back into writing. Question number 12 is, what simple invention saved the world? That's a hard one. I mean, this is a book channel, right? I feel like I should say, like, the printing press and therefore books. And I do think that that is a very important invention, but in this case, I don't know. I think that I might go with, like, electricity, because it led to a lot of really great inventions that are still improving people's lives to this day. So yeah, I guess electricity. It allows a lot of things to be done that were not previously able to be done. It allows access to a lot of things that people were not previously allowed access to. I do live, as I mentioned, in Kentucky, so there are parts of Appalachia that I live near that don't have access to, like, a lot of your basic human necessities, and that's honestly still very hard for a lot of people to wrap their head around in this day and age. But it exists, and it exists nearby, and it's very, very sad still. Question 13 is, what are your favorite movies slash TV shows? Favorite movies, I'm going to say this one because we were just talking about it at work, therefore it is at the forefront of my mind. One of them is Romancing the Stone. I adore that movie. I would watch it on repeat if I could. The Princess Bride is another one. I absolutely love it. I grew up watching it, would watch it on repeat if I could. Lord of the Rings, watched it at a very young age, fell in love with that whole trilogy, have watched it an untold number of times. And let's be honest, this would be completely untrue if I didn't mention the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I am a big Marvel nerd, and while I would like to eventually read the entire comic Avengers arc that is out there, which is a very large undertaking, I am content being mostly a cinematic and TV show Marvel nerd. I have watched every single movie in the Marvel universe many, many times. Like, we watch all of the Disney Plus shows the day that they are available, so yeah, we're big into the Marvel scene. And then TV shows, that segues into the TV show aspect. There are a lot of TV shows that I would say are my favorite. Probably too many to name. I am a big TV show watcher because I am fortunate enough that I can like watch a lot of it while I'm doing other things. I am allowed to like have a TV show on my phone to listen to while I'm doing stuff at work. So I get a lot of TV watched. Then my sister and I always make fun of each other because we're both serial TV bingers. So like if a TV show hooks us in, we will sit there and not stop watching it until we finish the whole thing. So at the top of the list, I would say in terms of like dramatic or like even dramedy kind of series that are at the top of my list, Teen Wolf comes to mind. Merlin comes to mind. Bones, I've seen many, many times. Psych, I've seen many, many times. Pretty much if it's a criminal, like, procedural show, I have watched it, and I potentially have watched it a couple of times. Criminal Minds is up there. I'm a big Supernatural nerd. That's on the list for sure. I know that I'm leaving out a bunch of things that I love, mostly because, like, there's just a ton of TV shows that I'll just rewatch over and over again for comfort. Schitt's Creek, Friends, The Big Bang Theory, those are probably at the top of the list. How I Met Your Mother was one of my favorite TV shows for a very long time until the final season came out, and I am unfortunately one of those people that the series finale did ruin the majority of the show for me. So, yeah, that would have been on the list, but is no more. I don't know, I can't think of anything else right now, but there's definitely more on that list that, like, I will put on and rewatch again for comfort. Teen Wolf is one of them. I am getting into an arc in Teen Wolf. I'm currently in season 5 right now, and so there's an arc in season 5 of Teen Wolf that drives me absolutely insane. And it has to do with like the Dread Doctors and Styles keeping a particular secret from Scott. It drives me nuts. I can't stand it, and that's kind of turning me off from finishing Teen Wolf again. But I will. I'll get through it. I will do it again. But yeah, I guess those are the only things that I can think of right now. Did you want to be in the video? Uh-huh. Is that your favorite TV show, bud? Come talk to the people. Sit. Go. Go. Awoo. Okay, you tell him. Anyway, that was Loki's input, probably telling me to shut up because I've been talking about TV shows for too long. So, moving on. Describe yourself using 3 fictional characters. It's probably cliche of me to say Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and I'm gonna do it anyway because I can. I don't know, there's been an influx of, like, book-loving characters that are in fiction lately, so I can't really say that, like, just because I love a book I relate to somebody in any of these. So yeah, I mean, Belle would be an option, Hermione would be an option. There's a lot of people that related to Hermione, and that's probably why I really liked Harry Potter from a young age, is because I did relate to Hermione pretty hard. And then the other one would be Dane from the Immortals Quartet by Tamora Pierce, which is something that I have talked about ad nauseum on my channel, and if you haven't read anything by Tamora Pierce, go read something by Tamora Pierce. She is a major animal lover because that is literally her magic. She is a badass and she protects her friends when she needs to. Dane would definitely be at the top of that list. Question number 15, what was your dream job? It says was, so I don't know if that means like as a kid. If it does mean as a kid, I would probably have said a veterinarian until I wised up to the fact that veterinarians are not happy-go-lucky playing with animals all day long necessarily, and one of my best friends is in fact a vet, so I can attest to this 100% now. I would not have been happy in that profession. I don't know. Probably either a vet or a writer. I've wanted to do what I currently am doing for a very long time. I'm very fortunate in that. I knew from a very young age that I did want to go into the criminal justice system of some kind. For a while, I had been under the impression that I wanted to be a profiler for the FBI, and then I found out that in order to do that, you actually have to be an FBI agent, and your girl would not pass a PT test, and would literally hate that, like, to the very depths of my being. I would not have wanted to be an actual FBI agent. So that Criminal Minds dream was dashed very quickly in college, and that is when I changed my major to forensic science, and I haven't looked back since, honestly. I love forensic science. I love the puzzles that you get to put together. My job is not nearly as cool as TV tends to make it look, and I get a lot of questions about it a lot of the time, but I do enjoy what I do. And I know that a lot of people can't necessarily say that, so I am very lucky to be able to. Question number 16. If magic was real, what spell would you learn first? This is going straight back to the fact that I said I relate to Dane in the Immortals Quartet, but I would love to speak to animals. Like, that would be the first thing that I would do, if not to outright, like, turn into one. Maybe if I could combine those two things together, that would be what I would want to do, because that would be the top of my list. Following that, potentially flying, invisibility. Reading minds is very easily abusable. I don't know that that's necessarily something I would want, but maybe to dabble in. All of the things that people generally say when they are asked that question. I don't have anything very special to add. Question number 17, share a favorite childhood memory. It's very hard for me to just like pick one thing, but I think that right now what's popping to the top of my mind is when I was, oh god, 6 maybe? My sister's boyfriend at the time, husband now, got her a puppy for Christmas with the permission of my parents, and I had been wanting a puppy for all of the 6 years of my life at that point. Now, this puppy was my sister's, but at the time she was still at home. She was a senior in high school, I think, at the time, and so it kind of became our puppy in that sense, just because I was there and, like, taking care of it also, but as much as a 6-year-old can anyway. So I have this memory of when he brought Kobe, that was his name, Kobe, home for Christmas, and we were just running around in the front yard and I was playing with the puppy and I was living my best life, and I have loved having dogs ever since. After she moved out and took Kobe with her, I begged my parents for more animals, and they didn't cave until I got into middle school, but they did cave, and then I didn't have a dog again until we got Loki. John and I ended up getting Loki, like, literally right after we moved in together, and he's been with us ever since. He's 9 years old now. We got Jinx also. We got Ember. We're kind of building our own little zoo here, and I love every single bit of it. Question number 18, what is your favorite social media platform and why? I don't know. YouTube is up there. I love being on YouTube. I love watching YouTube videos. John and I generally both tend to have YouTube videos, like, going all the time that we watch. I don't think that TikTok is one of my favorite social media platforms, and I don't think I can say that it is just because I spend an absurd amount of time on there, because I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok, so it's definitely not TikTok. It might be Instagram. I don't know. It's definitely not Twitter. Twitter can be very toxic, and Facebook can be very toxic, but Bookstagram specifically it's such a pretty place, and there's so many people doing so many cool things that I really wish that I was able to do, but I, first of all, don't have the patience or the pretty things to be able to put into those Bookstagram pictures, so I just appreciate them from afar. And Bookstagram, I think, might be my answer. Question number 19, if you could pick any book character, who would you spend the day with? I'm going to go not with a Tamara Pierce novel, but I am going to go with my other favorite author, which is Kevin Hearn, and I'm not even going to say Atticus, because that dude gets into some shit and he needs to be dug out of it, but I would spend the entire day with Oberon from the Iron Druid the Iron Druid series. I would absolutely spend an entire day with Oberon, because that dog he's fantastic. He is an Irish wolfhound, so he's massive and he's a lot of fun, and he can talk. I mean, he mostly can only talk to Atticus, but, like, we could find a way around that. He's super creative, and he's, like, entertaining as all hell, and yeah, I would absolutely spend an entire day with Oberon, and I would probably attempt to steal him from Atticus if I could. Question number 20 is, what is your spirit animal? And I'm with Chelsea in that that's not, like, a great term to use, so I'm just going to not answer it in that manner, but my favorite animal is a wolf. I have always loved wolves. As long as I can remember, they've been my absolute favorite animal. As I have not yet gotten around to owning one or obtaining one, I will stick with all of my doggies and be content with that. 21, what old person thing do you do outside of spending most often Friday and Saturday nights, like, reading in my bed? That's probably considered an old person thing to do. Crafting stuff? I don't know. I can knit and I can crochet, and I haven't done both in a very long time, but, like, I enjoy doing those things. I especially like audiobooks or TV shows. Having, like, my project going while I'm listening to that it's very relaxing for me, and I really, really enjoy it. Question number 22, do you have a hidden talent? I'm gonna go out there and say no. I have a lot of things that I like to do. Singing very loudly and singing very badly in the shower and in the kitchen while I'm cooking. Those are things that I like to do. Writing is a thing that I like to do, but I don't think I can call either of those things a hidden talent. I can read pretty fast when the occasion calls for it. I don't know if that counts as a hidden talent or not. I can sit and binge watch entire series of a show in one sitting, and I don't know if that's a talent or if that's sad, but that is a thing that I can do. 23, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I mean, I don't know. We're not tied down to Kentucky. Who knows where we'll be for 5 years from now. I see myself doing what I am currently doing. I would like to continue with my job. Um, but I don't know. I don't really have any like concrete 5 year from now plans. I've kind of achieved my where do you see yourself in 5 years plan already. So I don't know. 24 is share an item and tell us its significance. You guys are getting introduced to a very important piece of my history there. But this is Kobe, and I know that I said that Kobe was a dog, but this is a lion. So like I was saying earlier, when I was very young, my parents and I moved to Germany, or I think I said Europe, I don't know if I said Germany, but we did move to Germany for 3 years, and at the time my sister was dating her now husband, who came to visit us, and he knew that I was feeling homesick. He knew that I was missing Kobe, which was the puppy that I was talking about earlier, and so he was trying to find something that looked like Kobe. Kobe was a Chow Chow German Shepherd mix, and nothing really looked like him, and the closest he could find was a lion. So he got me this to feel less lonely. I was 7 years old at the time, and it's been 21 years, and Kobe has traveled everywhere with me, to every single apartment or place that I have lived, out of touch of my dogs, even though he is missing a nose now. But yeah, this is my most treasured stuffed animal, and he will remain in a place out of reach for as long as I possibly can keep him there. I need to wrap this up as quickly as I can because my battery is flashing and won't last much longer. So the last one is to tag some friends. I'm going to tag Z from You Can't Catch Z and Lauren from Lighting Lavender. I don't think I'm going to tag anybody else because I can't think of anybody else and I'm running out of time. So that's it for the 25 questions tag. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. Don't forget to go down to the description box and see my rep codes from Hello Lovely. And don't forget to check out my links to my Goodreads, my Twitter, and my Instagram in case you guys wanted to follow me on any of those. That's it for me today, guys, so I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!